Welcome back to the Isles, everybody, and we are gonna go over the Utah's damage today. I know I've been trying to get back into doing these pretty regularly and at least cover everything. I was wanting the update to kind of come out so I could see the new stuff, but it has not come out for quite a while, and I don't know when they're gonna release it. And even when they do, only 2 dinosaurs are gonna be playable. The old game's still gonna be here, and that's pretty much what we're gonna be playing. The old game still until they fully get everything going with the new style of the game, I guess. But with the Utah, we got 1,000 weight, 1,200 health. We have our 200 bite force, and we inflict 20 bleed per little bite. Now, it's not actually 20 bleed, so let's talk about that with our weight and damage ratios. So if you're going to fight another Utah, you just do flat damage to each other. So you do a flat 200 and a flat 20 bleed to each other. It'll take 6 bites to kill another Utah. Without bleed, of course. All the bites are without bleed. Next on the list, when playing a Utah, another thing you're going to run bigly into are the Dilos. Dilos have 1,200 weight and 1050 health. So they just have slightly more, well, they have more weight than you, but you have more health than them. But when you bite them, you're going to get to do 166 damage, and you'll inflict 16.6 bleed to a Dilo. You'll end up having to bite them 6.3 times, so 7 times to straight up kill one. But with bleed, it's probably going to be like 4 to 5 if they're running around, and you're doing little combat going around. But be careful, because they do hurt. And especially with you running, you're going to be taking more bleed damage. It's going to hurt you quite a bit. But you do have that speed and stamina bonus on them, because your stamina is like twice the amount that they have. The only thing, they can kind of get you at night, so you got to be careful. But you can't jump over them. Give them a little bite while you jump. And for the most part, Utahs normally win. From what I've seen, Utahs usually beat Dilos because you can easily get around them. Get the little turn in place. Get on them, outplay them pretty quickly, jump over, turn, and chase. On to the Baryonyx. Now, the Berry is a little beefier than you. It is bigger than you, but definitely not as fast as you. They are kind of speedy, but definitely not as fast as you, and you can definitely outpace them. Kind of toy with them a bit if you want to, but you have to be careful because they are just slightly stronger than you. You got the 1450 health and weight. So their little multipliers are a little bit bigger on you. You only do 136 damage to them and inflict 13.6 bleed. It will take you 10.66 bites to straight up kill one. So you have to be careful. So you definitely want to just let it bleed. That's a 13 bleed. That's pretty big. So you can probably just bite them once, run them around, and they'll die. Probably. As long as you don't get bit. But they're probably going to try and fight back. So be careful with that. Now we are on to the Carno. The Carno has 2170 weight and health. It is definitely the other fast one. They can definitely catch you without ambush. So you have to be careful when facing Carnos. Keep your eyes out. Because if they bite you, it's going to hurt and they're going to want to chase you. They're probably the only ones that can actually catch you and chase you down. So if you are facing some Carnos, just run into some trees. Just follow them. Let them follow you. Just bam bam. Use your turning, superior turning on them. And just try and get behind them, get a couple bites in. You do 92 damage and you give them 9.2 bleed. With them sprinting pretty much always, that 9.2 bleed will start hurting. Especially if you get like 2 or 3 bites, let them run. Don't try and sit there and like outbite them because you're not going to outbite them. It'll take you 23.58 bites. That's a lot of bites to try and outplay. So just get them a couple bites, run them around, chase them, follow them, don't let them sit down. Maybe you can get them out of stamina, but just be careful for Carnos because they are the fast ones. Next is the Serrato. Now the Serrato has weight and health of 2250. They're pretty good. I don't really like Serrato too much because their stamina is not very great. All you got to do is kind of play around them and get a couple good bites on them. They heal bleed very well, and they take bleed very well. So you have to be careful with that. you're only going to give them 88 damage and 8.8 bleed per bite on them. So it is, like, your numbers are pretty low. You definitely want a pack of Utahs to take them on, because solo, you're not doing too much damage. Sure, you can run around them and kind of drain out their stamina, get them up, but to straight up kill one, 25.56 bites, without bleed, of course, and that's going to equal out to probably roughly around 20 bites. I mean, if you can get on them and just ride them, by all means, you can easily do it. But just remember, not every bite counts, just because of lag and connectivity. So some of your bites may not even count, unless you get verbal feedback, like you hear their dinosaur grunt. You didn't bite them, even if it looks like you did. Next up on the list is the aloe. Now you definitely have to be careful for aloes. 2,800 weight and 2,800 health. They are a force to be reckoned with as a Utah. Sure, you can easily get around them, ride them. I've seen it in tournaments. Utahs take on aloes all the time. I see it happen. But as an aloe, it can just take you out. 2 bites and you're dead. One bite and you're gonna bleed out unless you get away and like sit down fast and that thing doesn't find you. You're only gonna be able to do 70 damage to it, and you give it 7 bleed. So if you can bite it a couple times, sure, you can dish it out some bleed, but if it just gets you once, it's pretty much game over. You have to be careful when facing aloes, especially since most servers, aloes can have pretty big packs. So you can easily probably take them on 2-to-1 in a 2-to-1 ratio, but I mean 2-to-1 ratio, that's still not too much with aloes, because they can have usually like 6 aloes in a group, and that's a lot. Even if you have like 12 Utahs, that's a lot of aloes to deal with, a lot of health to get through. It would take you 40 bites to kill an aloe straight up, but usually you're not going to bite it 40 times because that's pretty risky. But in between you and your group, you're going to at least want 30 to 35 to kill it. Especially if you're going for the kill and you're not trying to bleed it out, definitely you at least want like 10 to 15 bites in it before you can like say, okay, that aloe's hurting. Another dinosaur you probably won't see too much is the Alberto. But if you do see the Alberto, I recommend staying away from Albertos. They are fast, they are quick, they can turn like mother truckers, and they have 3,000 weight and 3,000 health. You're only able to do 66 damage to an Alberto, and you only give it 6.6 bleed. It is not a lot of bleed and not a lot of damage. You have to bite it 45.45 times to kill it. So roughly take off 5 bites. Pretty much everything I say, take off 5 bites, and that's what you roughly are going to want to do to kill it straight up. But they are fast and they are dangerous, so be very careful if you do decide to mess with Albertos. Next up is the Suco. Sucos are dangerous, super dangerous. Everything I'm going to say is going to be dangerous for Utah. I don't know why I'm going to even bother saying they're dangerous. You guys know what you're doing when you're playing Utah. You're playing a dangerous game. These things are going to be impactful against you, especially since they can turn on a dime. Like, they can turn quick. Sure, their stamina's not very good, and they are slow, and their trot is super slow. So you definitely want to use that to your advantage, but their turn radius, boy, is crazy. But they got 3,600 weight, 3,600 health. That's a lot of health to get through. 54 damage is all you're able to do to them, and 5.4 bleed is all you're able to give them. 72 bites is what it would take. 72 of these little nom-noms to straight up kill it. Which, if it's sitting down, maybe you can get a couple of good bites, catch them off guard, but that's still going to be like 60-something bites you need to hit them with. Just constantly going like this. Just that left click is going to get tired soon. Next up is the Acro. Now the Acro's not a dinosaur you would very much see, just because of its vision. How the camera is on it, it's like this. And imagine playing like this the whole time. It is pretty bad, so not many people play Acro right now. But it is a very strong dinosaur. It has 4,790 weight and health, so it is pretty powerful. It's pretty up there. It's like a pseudo Apex. You only get to do 40 damage to it, and you'll inflict 4 bleed onto it. So you're not going to do a lot to an Acro, and they're just going to one-shot you if they catch you. They are very fast, but their stamina is not very good. So you can easily just outstam them and get away from them. But you do need to still be kind of cautious for them. In a group, y'all could probably get them because their bleed heal and their overall healing is garbage. Utter garbage. So if you can mess with them, if you find one alone or just a pair, you could easily take them on because their healing is bad. But it would take you 120 bites to fully kill one. It's 119, but 0.75, so 20 bites to straight up kill them without bleed. You're looking at probably like 60 bites before you can actually kill one if you get a chance to bleed it out. On to the Rex, everybody's favorite little thing to mess with. I say little, the big thing to mess with. Like, if you want to mess with the Rex, you're ballsy, or you're just insane. Because messing with the Rex usually equals death. But, especially if it doesn't have no alt-turn Rex, that's easy mode. Stay away from those sub-Rexes, though. They one-shot you. Those sub-Rexes will do work on you. And usually if there's an adult, they probably have a sub with them to deal with you. So be careful for those sub-Rexes. But for the adult Rex, 5,800 weight and 6,500 health. You're only going to do 34 damage a bite to a Rex, but you do give it 3.4 bleed. Not very much, but hey, it's some bleed. You get it 10 times, that's 30 bleed. It has to deal with 30 bleed. That's a lot of bleed it has to deal with. It does heal pretty good, but only if it's sitting down. Walking and trotting, they heal decently well, but especially if you have a pack, you can keep a Rex on its feet, constantly moving, constantly having to run, chase after you guys. A Rex is a little more easier for you guys to hunt down as a big group. But be careful because some servers do have body drop, and if one of you guys drop, that's it. Fight's over. You have to be careful with that. To kill it outright though, 191.17 bites straight up to kill it. No bleed, but of course, probably with the Rex you want to probably take away like maybe 20 bites just due to bleed, because to kill this Rex you are going to need to bleed it out. You're going to need to let it run, let it kill itself. So you're probably looking at around 150 bites ish between you guys, unless you guys are like chasing that thing for hours on end. It is crazy. Most of the time people just find them when they're low health, when they're hurt after a fight. That's what a lot of little cheeky Utahs and cheeky Dilos do. Wait until they're dead, 3-call them off their bodies, and then hunt them down and kill them. But hey, if not, if y'all find a fully healthy Rex and y'all chase it down and kill it, props to you. That's an accomplishment. On to the Giga now. Giga is pretty much like another Rex. It's a little bit quicker. Can get its stand back when just standing, so you have to be careful with that. The Gigas can trick you pretty good and hunt you down. Especially, again, Sub Giga is not as fast as the Sub Rex, but just as powerful. So you have to be careful with those Sub Gigas. But their turning is not that great. You can easily kind of toy with them, mess with them. Hopefully you can get them. Again, with the Giga too, if you can get a Giga, props to you. That's a great accomplishment. But with the Giga, it has 6,400 or 6,450 weight and 6,000 health. So it's beefy, but it's a little less beefy than the Rex. The weight is what's really gonna like mess you up. You're only getting 30 damage to the Giga per bite, and you only give it 3 bleed. Gigas can deal with bleed very easily. So that 3 bleed is gonna disappear quick. You definitely have to be on a Giga's butt if you want to take it out. You're going to need to bite it 200 times without bleed to kill it. And it's going to be around there, because that bleed is not going to last and not going to stick very well on a Giga. Next up on the list is the Spino. Now, you'll probably definitely see Spinos around, probably around here in Great Lake. Oh no, I got stuck. Oh no, I'm good. No, come on. Jump. There you go. Got to use that jump. You'll probably find them around here, the Spinos. Now, Spinos are beefy boys and very, very dangerous. That turn radius, oh my gosh. Especially if they have a broken leg, you don't stand a chance with the Spino with a broken leg, because it can just turn on a dime way faster than you can do anything. You're on its tail, all of a sudden you're in its mouth. And with Spinos having 9,071 weight and health, boy, that's a lot to try and get into. This is like the goal for a Utah. If you can kill a Spino, especially 1v1, that is big props. Hopefully it's an actual legit fight. It's not starving. It's not dying of water. It's just like not letting you have free bites. Like 1v1, actual 1v1. Props to you. That's some good stuff right there. But with that, you're only going to be able to do 22 damage and 2.2 bleed. Do not think that bleed is going to do too much to that Spinal. That's a lot of health to get through. But hey, I mean, if you can stack up bleed, stack up bleed. That's going to be the only way to take this thing down, because if you wanted to bite it to death, 412.31 bites to kill that Spino. Just straight up sitting there munching on it. Long time to go for that Spino. Now, I'm covering the Dryo here just because it is a dinosaur in the game. I haven't covered the AIs because they don't even fight back. I mean, what does it matter? You just fight them and kill them. But the Dryo, they've been removed from most servers because they end up crashing servers with the burrowing. And so it's not really all like that, but I'm still going to cover it anyways. Sorry, words. The Dryo only has 700 weight, 500 health. And you're going to be able to do 284 damage to it. So you got to bite it twice to kill it, but you give it 28.4 bleed. You bite it once, that thing's going to bleed to death. It could probably get away in its little burrow and then sit in there and heal up. Kind of like out here. This kind of looks like a Dryo place. It gets fresh. There's water down there. Lots of little rocks to kind of hide by. But you do have to bite them twice straight up if you just want to kill them. But biting them once and making them run, that's more than enough to kill a Dryo. Now for the arch rival, the Galley. Galleys love to kick Utahs. They love to mess with Utahs, and they actually probably can kill you. I've seen it. I've seen Galleys kill Utahs. Not just in tournaments, but just like legit chasing. Chasing them down and killing them. There was once, I'm going to tell you a little story. I was a para, and my buddy Guardian, you've seen him in most of my videos, was a Galley. We chased a Utah. He was behind the Utah, kicking him, and I was chasing him as my para. Obviously, I could never catch the Utah. But I was on the Utah's tail, making sure he couldn't turn on the Galley, because if he did, I would kill him. But the Galley ended up kicking him to death. Guardian killed him, just straight kicking him. All him. I didn't get to hit anything. But the Galley only has 1,000 weight, 1,000 health, so it is an inferior portion to you besides speed and stamina. You get to do 200 damage and 20 bleed, just like as if you were fighting another Utah, just less health. And you would take it 5 bites to kill it. You need to bite it 5 times, but bite it twice at least. Because biting it once, that 20 bleed, it'll probably kill you by the time it dies from the 20 bleed in that time. So you at least want to get 2 bites in on that Galley. Your probably best bet is just to do this number and just try and catch it. Because chasing it is just going to outmaneuver you, kick you, kick you, kick you. Even if you're trying to get it like this and like run, stop, it may get you. This is like your best bet. Run, maybe if you see it coming, stop, and just go. Because its kicks aren't going to do too much to you, but they will. They will start stacking up and hurting. I'll cover the Galley later. Right, on to the next one is the Packy. The Packy is kind of going to be in your level. Now it can kill you. Don't take a Packy lightly. That thing can kill you. Even though you are a little weaker than it, because it has 1,300 health, 1,300 weight. It can hurt. That thing can hurt, and it is fast. Like, boy, is it fast, and it can jump with you too. If it predicts you, it can jump with you, and y'all can go blow for blow. You won't win that. You do 152 damage, and you give it 15.2 bleed. So you do hurt Packies, but it will take 8.55 bites to straight up kill a Packy. And that's a lot of time. That's a lot of bites you got to get in to kill that Packy. So be careful for those guys, because they do hurt. Next up is the Maya. The Maya. Oh, I don't like Maya. I don't like playing it. I don't like them. I think they're just meh. That's just me though. But they can hurt, especially if you're playing as a little Utah. But usually if you have a pack, you can take down a Maya. Maya should be easy if you have a pack. But don't underestimate them. They will hurt you. They have a lot of weight, a lot of health, and they can deal with bleed very easily. They can just keep running for days with bleed. It doesn't matter to them. You're looking at 2,868 weight and health. Little wonky numbers, but you end up doing 68 damage to them. Almost nice. And you give them 6.8 bleed. It will take you 42.17 bites to kill one. So it's not a crazy amount of numbers, but you definitely do need to bite it. And bleed probably won't help you too much, but obviously you want to be able to use it. Use it to the best of your abilities, but be careful with Mayas. Next up is the Diablo. Boy, these little devil potatoes, you have to be careful for them. As a Utah, when I play Utah, I don't want to mess with the Diablo. That thing one-shots you, and that's it. Like, it is fast. It can turn. That thing is insane. I don't like messing with them at all, but I love playing as them because how insane you are. It has 3,250 weight and health. So it is a tanky potato. You're only going to be able to do 60 damage and 6 bleed per bite to it. They don't deal with bleed that well, so if you can get a couple bites and get out, great, because the bleed will hurt them and it's going to be your best friend with dealing with Diablos. It'll take 54.16 bites to straight up kill one, and that's not a lot. Well, a lot in the sense of the apexes, but for you as a Utah, it may be a lot, especially if you're solo or a duo. You definitely want at least like a pack of 6 to be dealing with stuff from here on out. Next up is my personal favorite, the Para. I love the Para. I loved it when it had Bone Break, and I miss when it had Bone Break because that was amazing. I would break people's bones as a Para and just get out of dodge, or just let my herbivore friends kill them. It was awesome. But the Para has 3,600 weight and health, just like the Shuko. It can hurt. If it paddles, it one-shots you. The headbutt won't one-shot you, but they start to hurt. You're only going to be able to do 54 damage and 5.4 bleed to a Para, so be careful with them. 72 bites to straight up kill them. Not too bad. You guys can easily run around Paras and kind of cheek them around and get them. You just have to be careful for them to stop paddling. Stop paddle, I guess, because you can stop and paddle just like that, and then if you run through, you're dead. You got hit by that paddle, it's game over. Next on the list is the Theory. Now, these Theories, they see Utahs, and you guys are you're just mincemeat to a Theory. You have to, to fight a Theory, you're nutty, because they're fast, they're claw swipe, they got 3 different attacks, they can just kind of spin around. Their turn radius is bad, so you can manipulate them like that, but they're so buggy and so wonky. Oh, I don't like messing with Theories. Love playing them because the damage is just insane. But you only get to do... Oh, sorry. Let me go back to its weight and health. Weight of 4,536. Same with its health. You only get a 44 damage per bite, and you get 4.4 bleed. Not a lot of bleed. But Theories also cannot deal with bleed very easily. So if you can get 10 bites, that's 40 bleed. That's a lot for it to deal with. It would take you 103 bites to straight up kill it, so you definitely want that bleed to do work. You do not want to be 100 bites in on a Theory and just to get wrecked and it sit down and survive. Another one of my favorite herbivores is the Stego. I love the Stego. I love how it looks. I love how it is. But sadly, it's not very powerful in the sense of where it should be or how I feel it should be. Because I love the Stego. I want that thing overpowered. I want it to one-shot things. I wish it had Bone Break. Everything. I want the Stego to be untouchable. Because I just love it. But it's not so much on here, especially towards Apexes. But for you, you have to be careful because their hitboxes are wonky and the way they swing their tails is nutty. So it has 4,883 weight and health. You only get to do 40 damage and 4 bleed to it. It's not much. It's your numbers are dwindling in damage output. 122 bites to kill a Stego, if that's what you're going after. Personally, I don't like facing Stegos ever. It is super weird to me. On to the Anki, the little tank cows, the little honkas. Those guys are adorable, but you can easily cheese them around with a lot of Utahs because they cannot move fast. And Anki has no chance of getting away from you. its best bet is to fight and try and kill you so it can get away. Because Anki is not going to be able to outrun you, and as long as you play your cards right, you can bleed them out pretty easily. It's not that bad, but they have 5,443 weight and health, so they are tanks. They are beefy. They kill Rexes. They kill everything. You have to be careful for them. If you want to fight it, you do 36 damage and 3.6 bleed. They don't deal with bleed very well, just like the Theory and the Stego. So hey, by all means, go for it. But if you want to straight up kill it, 151.19 bites without bleed. You're looking at like 130, 120 bites consistently to kill it. If not, just, hey, if you can keep the bleed going, by all means, keep that bleed going. But more than likely, it's going to have some herbivore backup. So be careful with the whole herd situation, especially as 12 Utahs, if that's how many whatever server you're playing on allows. Or if you're like on a no-rule server and you have like 30 Utahs, that's still a lot of Utahs running in and out, and it's gonna be bad time for everyone. Just like this guy who fell and broke his leg. Next up is the Trike. Now, Trike is the evolved form of the Diablo, and it's just a big three-horned, tanky son of a bee. Now, those guys are just relentless. They are over-aggressive. They hunt people down. They chase them down. They horn them to death, and they are a nuisance to everyone, even other Trikes, because on no-rule servers, you can't ever trust a Trike. A Trike could be coming to kill you. It don't matter. Trikes are like the big beefiest because they do damage, they do bleed, they have good stamina. They don't regen stamina, though, so if you can get them without stamina, you have a chance, but you can't ride them for too long because they can like bob their heads like this and be all wonky, and their hitboxes are so messed up. So be careful with Trikes because they are weird. But they have 8,300 weight, but only 8,200 health. I say only like it's a big difference. So you're only doing 24 damage to it, and you give it 2.4 bleed. It'll take you 341 bites to kill a Trike. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen my video of the tournament, or not the tournament, but the event that I've done before, and we were Utahs. We had like 8 Utahs maybe, and we were fighting one Trike. We all died constantly. Just over and over and over we died trying to kill the Trike. Now that was in a tournament style-ish event, so we were all kind of like just there to just hunt over and over and just kind of throw ourselves at it. So it's a little different than in the real world hunting them. But hey, 341 bites. Have fun. Next up on the list is the Shant. Now I missed being able to pounce on a Shant because you could take out Shants like that. You could have 4 Utahs jump on a Shant and be on its side scratching it up and then jump off and run away. Usually a Utah died or two because they used up all their stamina pouncing on the Shant, and then by the time they got off, they had no stamina to run away. The Shant just killed them. So when Pounce comes back, make sure to be aware of that. Watch your stamina bar, and don't let it drain you completely, and then you fall and you have no stamina to get away, and they just kill you. But a Shant has 11,793 weight and health. Big tanky boys. Boy, are they big. You're only going to do 16 damage and 1.6 bleed to a Shant. You are not dealing much damage to a Shant at all. If anything, you're like a mosquito to a Shant. And you're just an annoying nuisance to them. So get your group together, hunt them down. You want to find them solo. But again, herds are just hard to deal with because there's such a huge variety in the herd, and you just have nothing but Utahs. Unless you're playing on no rules, then by all means, go nutty. But it'll take 737 bites to kill it, and I just realized that I was mistaken earlier. That I don't know, like if the new rework is going to use stamina. Because I was talking about it using stamina how it used to, but I don't know if it's going to use stamina now. Or like if it's just going to be an ability, like if we have ability power or something like that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But for a Shant, 737 bites to kill it. Have fun. Last on the list is the Kama. The Kama, again, It was the dinosaur you used to be able to jump on and pounce and get on and just bite over and over, and it couldn't do anything to you. Now, you couldn't do anything to it, really, in perspective. You couldn't really do too much to a Kama, but they don't deal with bleed very well. They don't. So, Kama's not that far off, but that trample, all they gotta do is just and you're dead if you go underneath their feet. You have to be super careful when fighting Kamas. But I don't know. I've never fought a Kama as a Utah, other than when I had Pounce, and I could pounce on them back in the day. But they got 12,000 weight, 12,000 health. 12,000 health! That's a lot of health. You're only going to do 16 damage and 1.6 bleed, just like the Shant. You don't do a lot of damage to it, but it's going to take you a little bit more bites. 750 bites to kill a Kama. But that's a lot of bobbing in and out, bobbing and weaving, biting, nipping, going. Like, you yourself inflicting that bleed and your group trying to kill it, more than likely you're all going to get wiped. And that's just how it's going to be, so just go for the little things. So that's going to be it. That's going to cover the Utah's damage and what it can do to every different dinosaur. You don't do a lot of damage. You really don't. Your biggest thing is you're fast, you're speedy. You can normally have big packs on the servers. You can have big old groups. Look at all the grass up there. Beautiful. And you can just have fun. Usually Utah is just to have fun. They don't have a very long growth timer. It's pretty quick to grow these guys and just have fun with them. But if you're looking for like more like a challenge, these guys are challenging. Sure, you could just feed off of AIs and just survive and like role play around. But what's the fun in that? Challenge yourself. Be a Utah and try and just not eat AIs. Don't eat AIs. Look to try and kill something every single time to eat off of it. Trust me, it is a challenge. But it will definitely make you a better Utah player if you want to challenge yourself like that. Because even if you starve to death, it's just a Utah. You don't take long to grow. You're quick, you're fast. Try and see what it's like to hunt other juvies constantly until you reach adulthood. And then you get a group and see what it's like. But that's up to you if you want to try out that little challenge that I'm issuing you guys. Let me know if you've had any success with that challenge. If you actually do it, let me know. I would like to hear what you did, what you killed to get to adult. Because, I mean, I haven't done a challenge like that in forever. I'll probably have to do that. But that's going to be it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time on my next damage video.